Over the years, we've seen tons of movies that got super close to getting released, but were ultimately canceled for one reason or another. Some of these films definitely had the potential to be amazing, or at the very least, be so bad that they were actually good. And in today's video, we'll be discussing the most disappointing movie cancellations of all time, according to Reddit. So let's dive right in. Starting at number 10, it's Superman Lives. Fans may be happy to see Henry Cavill return as Superman, but only the biggest fans are still mourning over the loss of Superman Lives by Tim Burton. This was a Superman project that was unfortunately lost to time, but many are still hoping that they'd get to see it on the screens one day. The idea for a Tim Burton Superman movie came after the success of his Batman films. He was hired to bring the Man of Steel to the big screen, and guess what? Nicolas Cage, of all the actors, was chosen to play the role of the iconic hero. A Reddit user mentioned that they don't really know if the movie was going to be any good, but they definitely would have loved to see it. There's no doubt that both Cage and Burton bring a ton of talent to the table, but the fact that it was canceled probably means that the film ultimately didn't end up making the cut in one way or the other. Next, at number 9, it's To the White Sea. To the White Sea is a canceled film that's based on equally violent source material. The film had the potential to be one of the best works of the Coen brothers. The film was going to revolve around Muldrow, a pilot who was shot down in Tokyo. In his attempts to make it back home to Alaska, he'd see some truly terrible things. The movie was sad to star Brad Pitt as the main character, but in the end, it just never came to be. A Reddit user mentioned their thoughts on the whole thing. They stated that the film was apparently taking the bold approach of having very little dialogue. It's a storytelling style that we don't really see utilized much, but we think the Coen brothers could have done something unique with it. Fans who adore their movies felt like they missed out on a classic when To the White Sea got canceled. Plus, at number 8, it's Neil Blomkamp's Alien sequel. The first two Alien movies are masterpieces, so it's understandable why the franchise has really been unable to live up to the high bar set by those films. That said, the closest it got was through a potential Alien sequel that was being worked on by Neil Blomkamp. The news initially excited fans, including one Reddit user who mentioned that the movie would be retconning Alien 3 and Resurrection. This would mean bringing back Hicks, who's a fairly iconic character from the film series, even despite his death in Alien 3. The film would have taken a different direction to some of the more recent outings in the franchise, but in the end, fans never got to see it. At number 7, it's Mouse Guard. We've been seeing tons of animated movies lately, but one that still managed to catch the attention of tons of people was Mouse Guard. It's an adaptation of a very popular graphic novel series and was going to follow the adventures of some mice making their way across a dangerous kingdom. The concept itself sounds intriguing, at least according to a Reddit user. They stated that the filmmakers released some test footage for the film, which somehow managed to look more stunning than the finished works that were being released at the time. It's also pretty sad that all the hard work they put into preparing the footage was ultimately wasted because the movie never came out. Surprisingly, despite how well received the test footage for the Mouse Guard was, the studio still decided to scrap the film entirely. For our number 6 spot, it's Wolfgang Petersen's Batman vs. Superman. The idea of Batman and Superman fighting each other is something that has appealed to comic book fans since forever. Who wouldn't like to see two of the most iconic characters in all of comic book history facing off against one another? While we did eventually get to see this happen in Zack Snyder's Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, it turns out another director nearly provided us with a similar movie much earlier. This was Wolfgang Petersen, who was planning on releasing his very own story revolving around the two iconic superheroes fighting each other. A Reddit user stated that the script for the movie was really solid, and it's apparently been circulating online for years. Fans can catch a glimpse of it if they manage to find it on the internet, but we imagine doing so will only increase their disappointment at the fact that the movie eventually got canceled. At number 5, we've got Justice League Mortal. DC has some of the most iconic heroes ever, and despite this, they've only managed to release a single Justice League movie so far. Over on the MCU, they've been pumping out Avengers films like it's nothing over the years, so it definitely feels like DC has been lagging behind for the past decade. Well, it seems that the Justice League actually had a chance to show up to the superhero team-up scene before the Avengers did. Long before the DCEU, there was a Justice League movie that was being made called Mortal. It included a colorful cast of iconic characters from the comic book series. With a master action director, George Miller, helming the project, it really had the potential to be something truly amazing. One Reddit user mentioned that they would have liked to have seen how it turned out. Miller went on to make stuff like Mad Max Fury Road, so there's no doubt that he may have been able to make Justice League Mortal into a really cool film. And who knows, maybe if this film came out, Marvel may have been chasing after the DC universe over the past decade. Plus, at number 4, it's The Hardy Men. Ben Stiller and Tom Cruise almost starred together in a comedy film titled The Hardy Men. The film basically had the two playing adult versions of the Hardy Boys as they reunited to go on yet another mystery adventure. One Reddit user stated that they think the idea for the movie was awesome, and we honestly think they're right. The concept seems like a very fun twist on the Hardy Boys series. Plus, seeing Stiller and Cruise work together on a film would have been a blast. The two did eventually get the chance to collaborate on Tropic Thunder, though. At number 3, there's also Olympic-sized a-holes. Usually, the canceled projects that fans tend to be saddest about are from established franchises. But Olympic-sized a-holes was a completely original comedy film that managed to gain the attention of tons of people. It was apparently going to star Danny McBride and Aziz Ansari. The film was going to revolve around the two, creating a plan to take down an Olympic athlete that apparently stole their girlfriends. The concept seems hilarious as it is, but one Reddit user mentioned that the script somehow managed to be even better. In fact, it's probably one of the best unproduced comedy movies ever. It's interesting to think that even a small project like this managed to get so many people's attention. We do wonder if Danny and Aziz will ever consider working together again to bring this movie to our screens. Next, at number 2, it's McDonald's Monopoly scam movie. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were at one point working on a film that would tell the true story of the McDonald's Monopoly scam. The film would have revolved around a security officer that apparently defrauded a fast food empire of millions of dollars, and all of this was done through his Monopoly promotion. A Reddit user mentioned that the film had some great potential, but it was ultimately canceled due to the Disney-Fox merger. They highlighted that they were really excited about the project, and so seeing it get canceled definitely left them a bit disappointed. It just goes to show that sometimes mergers can rob us of some truly amazing projects. Finally, at number 1, it's At the Mountains of Madness. This is a movie that's based on the H.P. Lovecraft novel of the same name. The film was going to revolve around a group of people who traveled to Antarctica as part of an expedition. There, they encounter an ancient evil, and things would have started getting worse and worse from there. For fans of H.P. Lovecraft's work, this sounds like a dream project. What made it even more interesting was that some pretty big names were attached to it at one point, including Tom Cruise and Del Toro. It seems that one of the issues was that the director was going for an R rating, while the studio wanted a PG-13 film. We can't really imagine a film about an eldritch entity torturing people getting anything less than an R rating, but unfortunately, it seemed that neither the director nor the studio was willing to budge, and so it got canceled. That's a wrap for this video. Which of these canceled movies disappointed you the most? Comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.